In our top story at this hour, the Labour Court grants embattled national carrier SAA an interdict against unprotected cabin crew strike. The court ordered striking union members to return to work immediately. The South African Cabin Crew Association members went on strike this morning. They are demanding a hike in international meal allowances. The cabin crew says the current allowance has not been increased in the past 6 years. Now, the strike caused SAA to cancel at least 32 local, regional and international flights. The Labour Court postponed the matter until the 23rd of June for further arguments. Earlier on, the Cabin Crew Association vowed to continue the strike despite any court interdict.
We are at the Labour Court because SAA has filed an intention to interdict our strike today. Various facts have been put on that interdict, one of which is they claim that we're still in negotiations. They're claiming on the interdict that we're still in negotiations based on last year's wage negotiations, which they have since lapsed. Now, I must also tell you that we've gone to the CCMA with regards to many jurisdictional issues based on this meal allowance issue, which the CCMA ruled in our favor. I must also say to you that before we came, or before we went on a strike, there was a conciliation that said that the commissioner ruled in our favor. We got a certificate legitimately.
Our demands are very clear with management. We told them, even yesterday at night, we left SAA very late at night yesterday, trying to avert the strike, because we have to come to an agreement somehow, but we couldn't because there was nothing on the table for cabin crew. I mean, you cannot expect people who stay far away from their families, like almost half a month, not to eat good food when they're there.
We are always tasked with cost-cutting initiatives. We're the ones in the front line that have to apologize to our customers for inoperable entertainment systems, quality of meals, shortage of meal choices, along with an aging product. The company always comes to the cabin crew to save the day, and we've been waiting for our day. In 2010, we did our best to represent our country and our company with all the flights, all the pairings, minimum rest, disruption to our rosters, and here we find ourselves 7 years later, still being Oliver Twist, asking for more crumbs that fall off the table. And from those crumbs, the excuse is always the same. The company does not have money.
Our working conditions are really hectic pairings where we sign on at 4:45 in the morning and we come back the next night from doing a night stop at 10:20 in the evening. Then there's our meal allowance that we haven't had an increase in 8 years, not 6 years. There's also the fact that the pilots have just received a 20% increase on their meal allowance and we've received absolutely nothing.
This is not something that we thought over overnight and decided that we're just going to go out and strike. This is 7 years in the making. So we've reached a stage where we cannot tolerate it or accept it anymore. Like all the other colleagues of mine have said before me, this is it. We've had enough.
South African Airways cabin crew demand a 2,222 rand a day meal allowance when traveling overseas. Crew members are currently getting 1,711. They say pilots are getting above 1,959 rand allowance per day. The airline is offering an increase of 84 rand 90 cents, but the union wants to increase it to at least 352 rands and more.
Workers at SAA are on strike because of income inequality in the workplace. And as NUMSA, we have been battling with the very same issues with the national carrier on these issues regarding the meal allowance. It affects our members. And of course, we stand in solidarity with them on this issue because this is a critical issue affecting members at SAA. We've always felt as a trade union that SAA has not done enough, particularly for workers in this sector. Part of the reason as NUMSA we support the strike is precisely because we believe that this practice of denying the cabin crew members and even our technical staff an increase in the meal allowance reeks of racism and it reeks of patriarchy.
The last straw has happened of the South African Cabin Crew Association as they strike today, asking for an increase on the meal allowance, especially for international flights. Domestic and international flights have now been delayed, passengers weary, and SAA still to respond. Giovanni Machane for ANN7, Johannesburg.